right audio. What do you need, Google? Either YouTube or Facebook. It should be on either one. It doesn't matter. Tampa Bay Real Producers. Can I borrow this for a second? We almost put Don's fucking champagne up there for mimosas and shit. Where are the gifts? Mic me up? People like this topic generally, I found. Selling luxury. Seems like selling luxury real estate. People get excited about it. They all think they're going to be luxury rock stars. Testing, testing. Giddy up, giddy up, giddy up. Good to see you, buddy. No doubt. I think we're ready. Hey, you guys look familiar. All right, guys, we're going to get started. My man, Pots and Pans. Good to see you, buddy. You too. Always looking good. Man, you always look good. I'll tell you. Got to step up my game. All right, let's get rolling. We got some people to introduce and some people to bring up as panelists. If you guys want, there is maybe a couple of still seats over some booths over here against the wall. Feel free to grab them if you want. How many of you, this is your first time coming to one of our panels? Can I see your hands? All right. I love our rookies. Good to see you. You too. Well, if you're not familiar with our platform, let me give you a quick 2-minute understanding of what we do, and then we're going to bring up some people that you're going to hear from. So my name is Don Hill. I'm the founder of Tampa Bay Real Producers. This is a part of a national franchise. Do you guys mind? Look at the panelists are already sitting up here. How about that? All right. So Real Producers, if you're not aware, has over 125 different markets across the country. The Tampa Bay Real Producers franchise consists specifically of Hillsborough County, Pinellas County, and Pasco County. And if you're not aware, there are about 17,000 licensed real estate agents in those 3 counties that did at least one deal last year, according to the MLS. So the idea of the Tampa Bay Real Producers platform is where we feature the top 500 agents in the market. To be a panelist on this event series that you'll see here in a few minutes, or to be featured in our magazine. How many of you are familiar with our magazine and know what I'm talking about? Awesome. It is on our website, TampaBayRealProducers.com. You can check it out if you want to see what I'm talking about. But we send out a magazine every month telling the stories of the top 500 producers in the market and how they became real producers. And so it's not a pay-to-play program. Agents do not pay us a dime to be featured on our covers or any other section of our magazine. It's all based on their production. Last year, an agent would have had to do $13 million to be featured in that magazine or to be a panelist on this panel that we do here monthly. And they averaged about 55 transactions per agent, to give you an idea. When you look at number 501 through 17,000 in the entire market, those agents averaged about 5 transactions. So there's a pretty distinct difference between being a top 500 producer and most agents in the market. Our commitment is to try to help with this type of an event as many agents as we can to become real producers. And we have a couple different programs to do that other than just this panel that I'll talk about more later. So today we have partners that make this platform possible. Many of them you'll find on our website. Again, if you just go there, you'll see a list of all of our partners, their services, and what they do. Our goal is to have 100 of the best local businesses in the industries of lending, title, home inspection, roofing, staging, all of the services that any good agent needs at their disposal in order to have a great service that they can provide to their clients. We want to make sure we're working with the best vendor partners out there. All of those vendor partners come as referrals, by the way, from the top producing agents that we feature and that we interview. So it's really important to us that we work with the best partners so that they're providing high-level service to the clients. And those partners, some of them are in this room right now. You're going to hear from a couple of them right now because, again, we don't have agents that are necessarily being charged to be a part of our program. So in order to make sure we can put on events, and at this great venue, by the way, thank you, Whiskey Cake. Let's give them a round of applause. We appreciate them hooking up the food, hooking up the mimosas, hooking up the coffee. And so without our partners, we wouldn't be able to do any of that. Let me bring a couple of them up now who are responsible for partnering with us on this particular series, and they support this series every month. And let me bring up a few that you're going to hear from. First off, I'm going to bring up Jeff with Home Team Inspections. Many of you know Jeff and Margot. I think that's all that you probably need as an introduction, right? I mean, people know you by now, I would have to imagine. Can I borrow your mic there? Thank you, Jose. Jeff, say a quick hello.
Okay. Just a couple of things, because we're not here to hear me. There have been some changes to the 4-point requirements by the insurance company. I have a document here if you're interested. The 2 main ones are, if there are electrical wires in the attic laying on the insulation, they need to be attached to a rafter. And if is there anything laying on the ground in the crawl space, it needs to be attached to a floor joist. There are a couple other things here if you want. I'm right there. You can have this document. The only other thing I would say to you is that in this competitive market, listing agents are starting to offer a free pre-listing home inspection to get a client. And if you as a realtor are going to pay for that, we offer a 15% discount on the regular price. All right. Have a great time. And these are great people that you'll hear from. Thank you.
Thank you, Jeff. You can give that mic to Jose. He'll be our mic man for a minute. All right, like I said, we have people in different industries that help support this platform. Let me introduce you to one of our partners with Red Door Title, none other than the queen herself, CJ Workman. I mean, she has 3 different names, so I never really know which one to go with, but I'm going to go with CJ Workman today. Jose, you mind? He's got the mic for you. There you go.
I'm not sure who CJ is, but if you're
KJ, I meant KJ.
Hiring. I'm KJ Workman with a Red Door Title. I also have my before married name, Carrie. So if you call me that, I will answer to you. So Red Door Title, obviously, title is title. What's the difference between partnering with me or anybody else? I have been an agent. I still keep my license active. That's so I can keep one shoe in your world and I understand what it is that you're going through. I make sure that when you partner with us, that my processors understand your pains and understand where you're going and why you're doing the things that you're doing so that we can support you so you can give that 5-star experience. That is the overall goal for you. That's the overall goal for us. And if you would like any of the resources that Red Door has to offer, and there is a ton, go to Working with Workman. That's the only thing you need to remember, Don, is that workingwithworkman.com, and it'll take you to everything I have access to, the books that I recommend that you read if you're new in the industry, all kinds of stuff. Podcast, my co-host is over there with Milestone, Melvin, and we have a podcast together that we talk about entrepreneurship and all things related to real estate and business growth. So thank you for having me, Don.
Thank you, working with Workman. Keep things simple for me, Carrie. You know, I'm a simple-minded person. Okay, let me go ahead and introduce you to another one of our sponsors for this series. I'd like to bring up Celia. There you are, right in front of me. Celia with Edge Financial. Jose, I'll grab that from you. Thank you.
I'm tiny. You can't even see me like over the top of that's why I bring my assistant, Katie. So my name's Celia. I'm with Edge Home Finance. I run a team inside of our brokerage. We're licensed in all 50 states. I have over 100 lenders that we can go to, from residential to commercial, all of the things. I love coming to these events and meeting you guys and answering questions and meeting with other lenders and anybody in the industry, because when rising tides raise all ships, right? When one of us grows, all of us can help each other. So I've been in and around lending since 2003. I also worked at the fire department. So after I retired from the fire department in 2022, I picked up lending full time. So this is all I do now, traveling all over the place and helping you guys as realtors grow. There's really not a lot. It's an amazing group of people. So we're all here to help each other, answer questions, anything that I can ever do, any questions that we can ever answer, whether it's even just learning or listings or helping in any way. So welcome today. Thank you guys for listening, and have a good day, y'all.
Thank you, Celia. All right, where's my man Joe Duffin in the house? There he is. Joe with First American Home Warranty. Thank you, Joe. I had to say a quick word. Thanks for being a partner.
Hey everyone, thanks for coming today. We really appreciate the turnout. I'm Joe with First American Home Warranty. I am the home warranty guy for the area. All your home warranty needs. We have great coverage from buyers, sellers, even new construction, so no matter what client you're out working with, we've got a policy to cover them. But my quick question here is, who likes saving money? Okay, everyone does. I sure hope so. That's what we're here to do. We're to help you and your clients save money on their home repairs. But to take it even a step further than just our coverage saving you money, for a limited time, we are offering $50 off any First American Home Warranty policy. Come to me, send me the information, and say, Joe, I want that $50 discount. We'll make sure you get it. It's a way to help your clients get more coverage for the same price, or the same coverage that they need for a lower price. We want to help everyone save money, because that's what we're about at First American, getting their claims approved and helping them save that money. So remember Joe with First American. I love you, and keep up the good work.
Thank you, Joe. Thank you for your guys' support over the years. One of the OGs of our partners is Elijah Ramsey with Utility Helpers. They have been a partner of us since we started with Real Producers, and he is making his way up as we speak. So Elijah's got an awesome service for you guys.
Good morning, everybody. So we're here to learn about some luxury sales, right? Yeah. So what does that mean to you guys? What does the word luxury mean? So for us, it's not a price point, thankfully, because for those of you that use us, you know our service doesn't cost you or your clients anything, but it's a level of service. We just celebrated our 2,200th five-star Google review with a five-star average. And we do that by providing exceptional service and by having amazing referral partners like you guys. So just think about that as you are planning out your listings, when you're planning out how you work with buyers. What is that level of service that earns you that luxury reputation? And if you'd like to learn more about us, myself and Jonathan are back there in the back of the room. As we take breaks, come back and say hi and enjoy and learn lots of stuff, and definitely implement something that you learned today. Thank you, guys.
Thank you, Elijah. Utility Helpers, by the way, it seems like when I go and travel to these conferences, they're known everywhere. So they come up, their name comes up, so they have a national brand, and great to have them as a partner. Let me bring up, I think many people have been voted this guy the best looking partner that we have, so I think Calvin knows that he got up before I even said his name. Comfortable Closings. Calvin.
Hey, appreciate you, Don. Can we give it up for Don real quick for putting this event together? Bringing like-minded individuals out. My name is Calvin Darville. I'm the owner of Comfortable Closings. We're a nationwide mobile notary service. We partner with title companies and other real estate professionals to help them schedule their mail-away closings. A mail-away closing is when if you have like a buyer or seller and they can't actually make it to the title company, we would then send a notary out to do that closing, and that's when the title company gets in contact with us, and we do that in all 50 states. How many, by show of hands, how many people here are realtors? Realtors, all right. And how many people, put your hands down by a show of hand, have experienced a mobile closing? Okay. Oh, with us? How'd it go? Did I do it, or was it some? Oh, okay, all right. All right, I believe you raised your hand. You've done a mobile closing too? How was your experience? Be honest. Was it what? Okay, all right. Well, I have heard some horror stories from realtors, so we all know how important the closing is. You want to make sure whatever notary goes out, if your title agent isn't doing it, knows the document, so you want to make sure they're well versed in the documents, a mortgage, closing disclosure, ALTA, warranty deed, and they can help walk your customer through it, because we know that's a reflection on you as a realtor. And for my realtors, how many of you guys have a preferred title company? Raise your hand. All right, preferred lender, raise your hand. Who has a preferred lender as a realtor? You have a preferred, okay. And who has a preferred photographer for their listings? Okay, why don't you have a preferred nationwide signing service when you know you have a mail away closing coming up that's gonna send a notary out to do a good job for you? All right. If you need one, holla at me. Comfortable Closings, Calvin Darville.
Give it to Jose. That's a drop the mic moment right there. You really put yourself out there, Calvin. I don't know if these guys were prepped in advance or whatever. You were ready to handle anything coming your way. All right, a couple of more here. We're going to get rolling. One of our services, of course, is to have great stagers as part of our platform. And Rita, right in front of me right here with Olive Leaf Staging, is one of our partners. I'd like to have Rita say a quick hello.
Hi, everybody. I am Rita Oliva. I'm the owner of Olive Leaf Staging. We provide home staging services throughout the entire Tampa Bay area. We do pre-listing consultation, occupied, as well as full vacant staging for all price points of homes. So if you have it, we can help you. If you're looking to get into the luxury market, one piece of advice that I can give you is to get the information beforehand. Even if you haven't started getting into luxury yet, give me a call, come to a training, and just start learning about how staging works and how the pricing works. I can't tell you, it's probably at least once a week where I get a call where someone's saying, I'm on the way to a listing appointment. I've been doing real estate for 10 years and I've never done staging. So just real quick, can you tell me how it works and how much it costs and how quick does it go and da-da-da-da-da? You want to be the agent who has that information, who's prepared, and who can talk about it confidently, so that even if your client does it or doesn't do it, you're the one who brought it up and you brought that information to them. So if you need any information about staging, I'm always happy to talk. Just get my business card and we can set up a time to talk. All right? Olive Leaf Staging.
Thank you, Rita. Appreciate your support. All right, and our last two also OGs. There he is. I didn't see Frank the Bank yet, but here he is, looking as good as ever. Thank you. Frank Cotto, come on up with Lincoln Lending. Thank you for your support, Frank.
Apparently I didn't win the best looking guy, but can I win the best looking guy under 6 foot? Can we do that? Maybe? All right, fine. All right, guys, if you don't know me, Frank Cotto, owner of Lincoln Lending Group. We are 21 years in business here in Tampa. That's right, I could have had a kid 21 years ago when I started the business, and God, that's crazy. He's already drinking. Anyway, we love having fun. We love doing mortgages. We are very outside the box, but since today is luxury, I'm going to talk about a couple of real exciting things besides the no minimum credit score VA loans, 500 credit score FHA loans, all those down payment assistance products, which luxury agents don't need, right? We want the good rate, so how about 10% down jumbo financing with no PMI? 10% down jumbo, no PMI. There might be a 5% jumbo product popping out very, very soon. You'll have to call me to find out or go to contactfrankthebank.com. Brought a couple of great members of my team. We have Ismira over here and Edis somewhere. He disappeared. There he goes. I can't even see in the sun over here. So thank you for coming, guys. We have 40 awesome originators who can help you guys out. We work morning, noon, and night. I am a huge proponent right now of the reverse mortgage product. If you guys ever get a minute and you want to learn about it, go to reverseguru.com. I created this website this month. I have some amazing videos in there. I have an FAQ section. I joke around that I go into a room and I say, hey, if you know something negative about a reverse mortgage, raise your hand. And the whole freaking room raises their hand because they think you can lose your home in a reverse mortgage. Absolute BS. As of 2014, it is absolutely impossible to lose your home on a reverse mortgage. You have to be 55, not 62, to get our conventional product on reverse mortgages. I'd want you to go to that reverseguru.com. You do not have to be poor. You do not have to be in trouble, but the reverse mortgage is the only product that you can be late on your mortgage. You can have repairs needed on your house, and we can still close you and save the day. So reverseguru.com, my new website. And let's see what else. Buy before you sell. Okay, there's a product right now that a lot of my agents are taking advantage of, that if you're trying to sell a property and your client needs the equity from that, instead of doing a bridge loan or some high interest loan, we can give them 75% of the equity in the departing primary with no payment and no interest, and we don't count that payment against them on the actual mortgage on that house. So that helps them qualify by both money and debt ratio. So there's great product. Last but not least, guys, Google is lying to all of you. All right, interest rates. We are all talking interest rates right now. I want you to Google 30-year fixed interest rate. It's going to tell you 7.5 conventional and 7% FHA and VA. It is total bullshit, okay? And the only way that your people and the customers are going to know and start buying houses is if we tell them the truth. We just locked 5.75% on a VA loan on Monday. People's like, oh, well, it has a bunch of points. No, it cost half of a point. And guess what? I'm going to be honest. I made a 1.5 points on the back on that loan, and I did not charge the client any underwriting fee. He got charged a 0.5 point for 5.75. So if you want to get the guys off the fence, tell them the truth. Tell them what the rates really are. Stop going to Google. Stop letting them think that the market sucks, because it doesn't. And when the Fed lowers the rates, which I will bet my Tesla it's happening next freaking month, everybody is going to be in the market and the prices are going to go up. So we are in the best time right now for people to buy, but we have to educate them. You cannot let them read the BS that's online. Anyway, contact frankthebank.com, reverseguru.com. Interest rates are amazing. Thank you, Frank the Bank.
Thank you, Frank the Bank. Frank did a great presentation for our Elite Agent Mastermind this just last week, actually, and he's got a lot of different products to be able to offer for sure. All right, our last partner, another one of our OGs, Lori with Milestone Title. They've been a partner since the beginning. Look at that. Everyone does a standing ovation for Lori.
Hi, everyone. Yes, Lori with Milestone Title. Who in here has used a title company? Ah, everyone. Okay, good. So title's title, right? Everybody can do it. All title companies can do it. What we strive to be is your partner to do above and beyond that, right? So Milestone Title, we have 7 offices. We are throughout the state of Florida. We do a lot of, from luxury to smaller to refis. So we can help with really anything on your title needs. Some of the things that we do that are above and beyond just being your title partner and doing the paperwork and collecting the money, which is fun, but is some other things like we help you assist with content photos, teach you how to do things like that. Melvin here is my director of tech and, what is it? What's your title again?
Agent Success and Digital Strategy.
Yes, Director of Agent Success and Digital Strategy. So he's going to talk a minute about what we offer and what we can help you with to, get you all to the next level. So, Melvin?
Nice to meet everybody. So, so with that, what we do is, like you said, a lot of content days. With that, tomorrow on the luxury topic, we do have a content day in Apollo Beach in Mira Bay at one of their beautiful model homes. So what is a content day? It's typically you come in if you need new headshots, new action photos, maybe some still images, some videos, just to have a little arsenal of stuff to post throughout the month, year, week, whatever it is. We try to throw those events, at least once a month. Or we're working on some scheduling to get some more out there for you guys. On the other side of that, what I do is I like to build relationships. Ultimate goal is to try to fill in any gaps you may have, especially if it comes to tech, any type of knowledge. A lot of you guys see what other people are doing and want to do it, just don't know how to get there. I'm an open book. Most of it I've done, especially if it has to do with CRMs, tech, social media, you name it. I teach a lot of classes. So with that, just find us, Milestone Title. Everything we do is going to be on social media. Anybody we work with, we have a lot of tools for you guys, new software coming out that we can offer you to farm, to be able to make flyers, you name it. We're always innovating and trying to find new things to help you guys grow. That's our ultimate goal. If you grow, we grow. You're successful, we're successful. So that's kind of how we roll.
Thank you, guys. I thought Melvin's title was like CEO of Overall Badassery, or something like that. Wasn't that Agent Badassery? Okay, so we have our panelists already up here, which is great. That makes things easy. I'm just going to do a very quick introduction of each of them and then dive right in to our topic today, which is what we're all here for, to pick their brain with some questions and figure out what we can learn from these guys. So first off, we have going from right to left, depending, I guess, on where you're looking, but Evan Pedone here at the end. Evan is a luxury specialist with Engel & Volkers. All 3 of these people, by the way, have been featured in an issue previously of Tampa Bay Real Producers. So, of course, that tells you that they're all top 500 producers in the market. A couple quick things about Evan. He averages over $2 million per transaction. A lot of his specialty is over in those beaches areas, over on the over in the St. Pete Beach and in that West Coast side. But he also, we had Evan on our podcast too. He also has a lot of expertise. We're not going to maybe dive into this as much today, but in working with like hotels, luxury developments, and a lot of his network are people from literally all over the world that end up being buyers, you know, for him in this local market. Evan has been somebody who really has developed a niche in this specific space of luxury, which is why I wanted him on this panel. So let's give him a round of applause. Evan Pedone, thank you. Right next to Evan, you have Miss Karla Dorsey. Karla has also been featured in a Tampa Bay Real Producers feature, I think actually twice, if I remember correctly. One as a team leader, building her team, and one in a Making a Difference spotlight for some of the nonprofit work that she does in the Tampa area. Karla is a certified luxury home marketing specialist. Karla is with Keller Williams. Oh, you switched on me. You used to be with Keller Williams. Can't keep up with all you guys sometimes. But Karla is with Compass now, and obviously a top producer, a top 500 producer in Tampa Bay. Correct me if I'm wrong again, but a lot of your focus has been in South Tampa, really Tampa Bay as a whole, I guess you would say. But I always identify you with a lot of the luxury in South Tampa area. Is that smart for me to think? All over Tampa, okay. So Karla Dorsey with Compass Realty today. Let's give her a round of applause. And the last fine-looking gentleman that you see there at the end is Jose Cardenas. Jose is with Premier Sotheby's. You didn't change on me, did you? You're with Premier Sotheby's still? Okay, beautiful. Jose is actually one of the members of our Elite Agent Mastermind, which we put on every month. We have 12 different people representing 12 different brokerages, and Jose was asked to represent Premier Sotheby's as part of our mastermind. He is a graduate of the Institute for Luxury Home Marketing, which I thought was cool. There's a lot that I could say about Jose. I've gotten to know him well over the last year specifically, but of course he's also been featured in Tampa Bay Real Producers. I thought this was neat. He's a record holder of the highest price per square foot sale in Avila. Many of you know Avila, beautiful community. He also happens to be a resident of Avila. He's a 5K runner, a golf enthusiast, a world traveler, and what I like to say, and he actually branded this, he is an official real estate artist. So I think that's pretty neat, right? That's his copyright as well. Those are our panelists today. Let's give them a round of applause. Okay. So our topic is obviously selling luxury real estate. I think one of the things that many people have questions about is, if say it's a newer agent, I'm going to give each of you a chance to kind of tell your story briefly. And what we're going to focus in on is, did you, when you got licensed, did you just know right away that you wanted to focus on luxury? Was that the niche that you wanted to serve? Is that why you got into the business? Or did that happen over time? You know, did that evolve later after you kind of learned some things, learned the basics, learned what you liked, what you didn't like, and then luxury became a focus later on in the process? The reason why I bring this up is, like, there could be all different types of levels of experience in this room. Some people are here because they just maybe want to get into luxury, but they haven't really done it yet. Other people, you know, could just have random questions about the industry as a whole. So I think it'd be helpful if they could understand a little bit deeper of your story and how this became a focus for you. And why don't we start with Jose? We'll get all three of you in.
Works, right? Okay. So, hey, guys. So, again, so many familiar faces, and thank you, Don, for having us here. This is, again, a great opportunity to get to know each other. We are all in the same industry, and I always want to think that we are not necessarily competing in this market. We are here to, again, make friends, and I've seen many of you, and when I get to see a listing and I see one of your familiar faces or names, the transaction goes much better. So that's very important. But back to the original question, I wasn't looking to get into the luxury market. The luxury market found me. it was the other way around. I started as an investor. I started flipping homes. Yes, I stepped on a nail. I had to drag myself to the emergency room. So yeah, it was like 8 p.m. So I started from the $100,000 to the $150,000 homes, the starter homes, flipping them, and then I went to the 500. And then when I went to the 1 million, I go, wait a minute. I'm doing the exact same work, managing the same vendors, going through the design planning here, and look what happened. I sold this $1 million home versus the 150, and my life changed. So that's when I decided to focus on $1 million and $1 million listings and up. So yes, it was very strategic. I paid my dues to get to that level. And because I was able to take apart those homes and put them back together, I felt very confident with those homes. I'm talking about large homes that were 6,000, 8,000, 10,000 square foot homes. Because to me, they were nothing but bricks and ticks, just dirt and framing. And so what makes them special? Just because they are massive. So, but then you get to learn about materials and finishes and all that stuff. And again, that's how you become an expert on that specific price range. So I started from, again, as an investor, renovator, designer, and then decided to do full-time sales.
Perfect. Thank you. Karla?
Okay, in fairness to the introduction in Keller Williams, I will say that I did start there with a team, and I was with them for 6.5 years, and it was a great experience. So I left and went to Compass when the Compass office opened 3.5 years ago or so. And how I started in this industry and with luxury is, and I say this, I do teach classes too, I used to at Keller Williams, and I always say that everything you do leads you to the next great thing. And you just take little bits and pieces as you go. So I've always worked in some type of luxury industry. I was a makeup artist for Estee Lauder. I did manage a country club for 6 years in South Bend, Indiana for 7 winters. And I've been a fashion jewelry designer rep also. And so anyway, as you go, you just take pieces of that skill set with you, and you learn really what the luxury client likes. And then you develop your taste, or at least that's what I did. I developed my taste around the people that I was surrounding myself with. And it just has led me here. I also managed a very large staging company. I've been a decorator for a long time. And then I just switched. I was staging a lot of homes in Tampa for a lot of different agents in town. And then I realized I have a passion for it. I could speak about staging all day long. I'm a huge believer. So it's really, really important. And the guys I used to work with used to say that I have a velvet hammer. So I have just a nice way to deliver bad news about that Barca lounger, you know, or whatever it is that they need to get rid of. And so, you know, I think it's just the people that you surround yourself with and find out what their interests and likes are, and then you develop your taste that way too.
Thank you, Karla.
All right, Evan Pedone, Angle Invokers. Thank you for having me here again, Don. For me, it was luxury or nothing. So I came into the market right away. I did not have any interest in lower price listings. It was $1 million enough from the get-go. So for me, I just decided to set my standard of what I was willing to accept, and that was it. And that's what I went after. I had zero experience in the industry, but I knew what I wanted, and I just went for it. So for me, I aligned myself with Angle Invokers. I've been there since day one. I'm still there today. So that was just a mindset difference. A lot of people go, I need to start off here at $100,000 listings, $200,000, wherever it is, because that's where they feel their worth is. And me, I was different. I just go, you know what? No. Why can't I be number one? Why can't I be the best? So I'm going to be the best. I am the best. And I told myself that, and then I went in right out the get-go, and in the first 3 months of being with Angle Invokers, I had a $12 million winery as part of the portfolio that I was marketing. So it really just depends on what standard you're going to set for yourself. Don't let anyone else tell you what you're worth. You just come in and you set your standards and you go for it. And that has boded well for me. And now I'm a professional athlete advisor with Angle Invokers. It's a pretty exclusive group throughout the nation. And what we do is we work with obviously professional athletes, NFL players, NHL players, Major League Baseball players. As Don said, I also sell hotels now. I think I have about $20 or $30 million in pocket listings in hotels. I have about $7 million in active listing in luxury real estate. And then I also have $15 million in pocket listings of residential real estate. So you come in and you set your own standard. This is your game, guys. So whatever you want to go after, go for it. And, you know, as Karla said, you know, if you're working these other listings, you know, there's multiple ways to skin a cat, though. It's whatever you're passionate about. You can sell $10, $15, $20 million in real estate working on $400,000 and $500,000 homes. If that's what makes you happy, then go for it. That is not what I wanted, though. And, you know, it's funny. You had me here about a year ago, and I just got done traveling in Europe for a month. And now here I am after a few weeks in Hawaii. And you know, it's like, Don, you got me on these panels after I get back from vacation. You know, but
I have people following you, Evan.
Yeah, I used real estate as a platform also to fulfill my other passions. I produced a feature film this past year. It was just getting shopped in cans. So, you know, real estate, you can use that to leverage to whatever your goals are in life. But, you know, set your own standard, and then that's it. And yeah, if you fall, it's okay. Just get back up one more time. You know, I've been yelled at on the phone when I called for a listing. I've been hung up on. I've been doors slammed in my face. You know, who are you? We don't know who you are. We don't like you. You know, but then I get the people that, you know, I get those listings. And so you actually get told no more times than you get told yes. But the reason why I'm up here is because they only see the yeses and the success. They don't see all the failure, all the times where you didn't get the listing. You know, so now I'm at a little bit different ball game in my career where I have people calling me, which is nice, but it wasn't that way for 3 or 4 years. So what I would tell you is set your own goals, set your own standards, and go for it. But you don't have to sell $1 million homes to be successful in real estate, but that's what I enjoy to do, and that's what I went for, and that's the standard I set for myself.
Good stuff. Thank you guys for sharing a lot of different nuggets there of wisdom. One thing I wrote down was this idea of, you know, are you committed to being successful in the industry, or are you interested in being successful in the industry? Because every time we have panelists up here on stage, they're up there because of their success. But like Evan just said, what you're not seeing is all the failure they had to go through, right? To be able to be successful in the first place. That's not the stuff that's celebrated, even though it probably should be, if we're being honest, because that's where we really start to see what separates the top producers from everybody else. And really, it just is a matter of that level of commitment to plow through those failures. I want to touch on, so Jose mentioned that he was doing the same amount of work and started focusing on luxury because it was like, I guess, why not, right? You're making more commissions on the luxury deals than on the non, and if you're doing the same amount of work, it kind of makes sense. So I'd love to hear from you guys on if there was any other reasons why you wanted to focus your efforts on the luxury space, but specifically touching on what are some of the different dynamics involved in your experience on a luxury sale. You can hold off on like the differences between buyers and sellers because we're going to touch on that in a different question, okay? Regarding like the working specifically with the buyer and the seller, setting expectations, that kind of thing. But specifically about like the transaction process, right? Or maybe even about, you know, the acquisition of the listing or working or the marketing campaigns or philosophies that you might have when it comes to luxury specifically. What's different about the luxury process compared to other, you know, real estate that's out there? And you might not have a lot, Evan, since this is all you've been doing, right, since the very beginning. But if you have a distinction, I think it'd be good for us to kind of flush that out. So who wants to go first?
So there's a difference between how you present your listings to a luxury seller or when you are meeting with a luxury buyer. Of course, there's a huge difference. And number one, you need to understand what they are looking for, which is very different. There are so many intangibles that's what they're focused on. You're talking about individuals that can have everything they want, and maybe a watch, maybe I don't know, a material thing is not going to motivate them. It's not going to get them to react. But there are other intangibles, and those intangibles, I'm talking about health and wellness. I'm talking about fitness. I'm talking about safety. I'm talking about meditation. Those things are valued by these individuals. So if you understand that, you're not necessarily, again, going to talk about, again, a material item. But if you connect at a level with them, let's say meditation, it doesn't cost you much to meditate. It doesn't cost you much to just watch what you eat. And you're going to have those things in common. Your network is probably not going to be the same as if you have a billionaire client, right? But you have all these things in common. Like they are now interested in sustainable building and green spaces and interacting with nature. Those are the things that they are after. How do we know that? Of course, we have the statistics. We have to prove that. But if we don't know that, then how do we make a connection with them? So when you're presenting to to get a listing, to begin with. Number one, I always tell people the storefront. You are the storefront of your business, and you're going to attract the type of clients based on your look. Like, what type of store are you? Are you an outlet? Are you a discount store? Are you a clearance store? Or are you like high-end exclusive brand? Who are you? And you make that decision. You decide which client you want to go after. But again, have to do it consciously. I'm like, do I look like I want to give discounts starting from the commission? I'm not an outlet. Again, I'm not on clearance. And people
Certainly
need to
not,
know
Jose.
that.
Certainly
They
not.
need to know that you look expensive, that you act expensive, and that first interaction with the seller, when you're presenting your service, you have to be, of course, knowledgeable beyond. You need to know by memory every line of those contracts, of those forms. That I'm going to put on the side. I'm not even going to talk about it because that's a must, and that's already by default. I'm talking about being a master, again, of your presentation and understanding these individuals. What moves them? What is going to motivate them? And again, are you going to be able to make that connection with them? So you attract your what's the saying? Your vibe attracts your tribe. So that is real, and just again, who do you want to attract? Are you ready to attract those high network individuals?
Thank you. Good one. Vibe attracts your tribe. I like that. Carla?
I love that too. I relate to a lot of what you're saying. I will say it has very much to do with your presentation and how you speak. I do like to shop discount, so I just want you to know.
Everybody loves a good deal.
You can find me at TJ Maxx just about any day of the week. But it does have everything to do with how you present yourself. And I think that when you're dealing with a luxury seller, it's important to be a really good listener. It's not about you, in my opinion. You don't have to go there and sell yourself at all. You really want to understand who they are. You have to demonstrate that you're a really good listener. And I think it's also helpful to just understand what they're reading, what they're looking at. Read the publications, look at Forbes, read Wall Street Journal, understand what luxury properties look like around the country. What are they into? I happen to be a wine collector. I'm a wine drinker. Typically, that's something we might have in common. But I don't even like to talk about myself. I like to ask questions, because if there's one way you can get people to really trust you is to get to know them. People love to talk about themselves. So you just ask questions that just lead to other questions, and before you know it, you have a whole resume that you've built about that client, and then you speak their language. They pretty much will give you everything you need on a silver platter if you're asking the right questions. And then I also think it's really important to network with other luxury agents. I think it's really important who you know, because you can pick, and if you don't know, then pick up the phone and introduce yourself. And I think that's a big part of what this panel and what this industry is about, is collaboration. And I think you said that earlier too. It's not about competition, it's about collaboration for sure. So if you're picking up the phone and you're making inroads with other people who are in this industry and working in that level, and let me tell you, I listed a $4 million property this week, but I'm also writing a contract today for a $180,000 property for a friend. So I mean, you can work both ends of the business always. I don't look down on that at all. That's the bread and butter, really. It takes 10 times longer to really even do those deals because they're just so complicated at the end of the day. But I think it's important that you speak their language. I also got involved, and I think this is a really good idea, in charities that mean something to you. I'm involved in 3 charitable organizations, and I do it because, and I have always said, when you don't have time, give money. And when you have money, give money and give time. Because the more you give, the more you get. And depending on what you're interested in for your charitable organizations, that's a really nice way to get to network with people who are also philanthropic. So I think that's really important. It's good just for the soul, too.
Love it. Evan, I know you only hang out with luxury people. No, I'm joking. But What distinctions can you share, do you think, about what you think is different about the luxury demographic, the luxury process, the luxury sale versus a traditional real estate one?
Well, I think typically they're more seasoned sellers. They tend to be very affluent. Obviously, they're affluent. They're intelligent people usually, and they have a lot of life experiences. So I think to try to, what Carlos said, to build that connection, I think is very, very important. You know, to try to build a rapport with them. And as they said, these two individuals over here are very, very smart. Listen to the seller. I think it's important to be prepared when you go to these meetings. And what I mean by that is understanding your brand and what your brand's capabilities are and how that can fit what the seller's needs are and what their goal is. So understanding what you bring to the table and then listening to what the seller is saying and then trying to go ahead and have that solution for them. Because you already have a seat at the table now, right? We're not talking about how to get the appointment. You already have the appointment. So basically, it's yours to lose at this point. So you need to be able to go ahead and show that value. So we all come from different brands. I know what my brand is inside and out. I'm very familiar with both of these individuals' brands because our paths have crossed. Maybe not as advisors, but with their companies. So, you know, it's also important to understand what the other brands offer. And that's not to talk negative about another brand. Don't get into that mindset. What it is to know what your strengths are and what their strengths are, and you want to present yourself in the best light. Okay? Don't ever talk bad about another advisor or another company or anything like that. But what you want to do is you want to speak confidently. And the last thing I will say is I'm not a budget realtor. So if I went into a meeting and someone wants to go ahead and negotiate my commission, that's usually a non-negotiable factor for me. I set my standard. I'm worth what I'm worth. If you want to do business, this is the cost to play, okay? If I go into a Bentley dealership, okay, and if I see a $20,000 Bentley, the first thing that's going to come to mind is what the hell's wrong with it, all right? You're going into a multi-million-dollar home, and you're going to offer a low commission. Why? Why? What are you marketing? Oh, you're going to do all this marketing. How are you going to afford it? You know? So I set my standard from my experience, my past history, and so forth. And I am definitely not a budget realtor. And there have been times where I have told individuals that it is not a good fit based on what the value they're setting on me. Because how I look at it is what gives them the ability to set the value of what I'm willing to charge. How can I let them set the standard of what I'm worth? It doesn't work that way. Yes, they have an asset, but I'm the one with the value when it comes to being able to move the asset. You see what's going on here is you got to change your mindset. A lot of realtors look at it like, oh, I need them. Well, they need you, okay? You don't sell yourself short. They need you, so you set the standard. They have a problem. You're the solution. If you literally switch your mindset, you're going to go in there with a lot more power and a lot more confidence. But too often I hear realtors like, they're almost like begging for the listing, like I'll do it for this percentage or that percentage. Well, okay, you're selling yourself short. And that's how I look at it. So I think, though, the biggest thing is when you're trying to get these listings and you're meeting with these individuals, listen, be prepared, know what you bring to the table, build a rapport, try to find a common ground and connections. Okay, be honest, be truthful. You don't even have to sell. This is a people business. So you're not a used car salesman, guys. All right? And you're hoping that this is going to be a long-term relationship, right? Get out of the mindset that this is a one-time deal and you're done. Okay? Because I've had clients now that have used me 8 or 9 times. You know, I've had people that call me out of the blue and go, hey, I sold their properties, and now they're buying, and they go, I need you to represent me on a buy. You know, so they're not going to that other realtor to, you know, give them that double end, so to speak. They're coming to me to go ahead and represent their interest and protect their interest. So, you know, you got to really switch your mindset around a little bit.
Let me just say, if I saw a $20,000 Bentley, I'll take 2.
No matter what's wrong with it. All right. I want to flush out a couple more thoughts about specifically attracting luxury buyers. And on the flip side of that, of course, is also things that you would do potentially to, you know, attract those listings, right? Those luxury listings. on that side. So whether it's specific platforms that you love being a part of that have worked well for you, or just any other strategies revolving around that attractive element, right? Or has it always just been networking and just completely organic? If that's true, that's fine as well. But have there been anything intentional that you've ever done or been a part of that you know has worked well for you to attract the luxury buyers, and of course on the flip side of that, attracting luxury listings? Anything you can elaborate on there?
Again, I go back to your buy, visit your tribe, and where you hang out, and who you hang out with. It's going to be the most important thing. Again, they say that your network is your network, right? Those individuals around you. Who do you hang out with? And just going to those places. But you are probably asking, but how do I get there, right? How do I get to hang out with those billionaires? How can I be friends with them? I want to be friends with these individuals. One of my clients, it's a count of the royal house. I've never been invited to a dinner in a palace. And one of my clients is also a professional baseball athlete. I have no knowledge about sports. I'm clueless about sports. I told Coffee, one of my trainers, he was in this $1 Million show, TV show. Oh yeah, we have a lot of athletes. We have softball. We have I went like, what's after softball? I think baseball, tennis. If you got the joke, is like there's no such thing as professional baseball. I'm sorry, softball. And I started with that. That tells you how much I know about it. So, but again, I don't go to those places. But I got to represent this buyer, and then you're asking how, right? That's everybody wants to know the secret for that. How do you have this billionaire that I used a remote notary to go to his yacht, and then I had to go. This was in Florida, and then I had to send another remote notary for the buyer in California because he was a baseball player. So I had to deal with that. But some of the things that are helpful is if you're knowledgeable about wine, because they like wine, and they like to travel to destinations like Bordeaux, to Saint-Emilion, to depends, I don't Rioja, Napa, all those places. And yes, I've been to many wineries. I don't drink wine, but I can tell you the type of grapes. I can tell you the most exclusive wineries that we have around the world. I know that because, again, I've done my research. I've been to those places. I've done my homework. That is part of my homework to know that, right? Again, I don't necessarily play sports, but then later I got to learn, oh, okay, so you guys are here because you train here? Oh, okay, now I get it. You train in Tampa, right? That's how. You train in Tampa. Oh, didn't know that. Go and educate yourself in those things about, like I said, fitness and wellness. To me, it works a lot. About some people, some of my clients are very into cars. Again, I'm not necessarily a car guy either. But yes, they are into McLarens, they're into Rolls Royce. And you need to understand, those are handmade. The Bentleys are handmade, English cars. Well, if you can go and learn from the factory direct, to travel around the world is the best education and that you will ever get, because you've been to that specific place firsthand. So when you're talking to these individuals, you're like, oh, of course that I've been to the factory in such and such country. That, again, opens up the trust element. Then we're like, oh, I'm trusting this guy. I'm liking this individual. By doing those type of things. Join a country club. Learn golf, because these individuals are playing golf. I just started taking serious formal lessons about a year ago. I pretended to play. It's terrible. I pretended to to play golf for the past 15 years, but I was clueless. But now it's a different language, so they like that. What do they like? They like to get their private jets because they don't like to deal with the lines, and learn about all these concierge services that we have. Learn about those things. So do that part of the homework, that's how you're gonna open up to them, and they're gonna trust you.
I do agree with all of that. I will say once you're in the network, it's helpful, right, to be able to speak the language. But I would say if you don't have anybody in mind that you can even go approach and you want to just cross the line, look around your office. Who's selling luxury real estate in your office? Get to know that person. And 100% ask if you can host an open house for them. Sometimes the luxury seller doesn't want an open house, but ask if you can just shadow with them. I used to let people shadow with me all the time. It's really, they were so grateful just to be able to hang out and understand and hear and ask the right questions. So sometimes it's hard to, show up at a baseball game or wherever and have a conversation with somebody you don't know. Start in your own office. Understand what the statistics look like in your office so that when you are going to present to a luxury seller, you might not have the personal stats, but you at least know the stats in your own office. And better yet, take a luxury agent with you in your office on an appointment. They will help you. Most of us want to help. That's just part of what you put into the universe comes back to you. I'm a big believer in that. You just want to help. And I'm all about mentoring. So I think everybody probably has that in their own office. And then the other thing I'll say is once you start making those inroads, I have a client who's a big car collector, and you would never know by looking at him. Super casual guy, really loud. Like if you saw him out publicly, you might find him kind of obnoxious, to be honest. But very smart, and he's a big cigar smoker. So let me tell you, every year for his birthday, I send him luxury cigar membership, and he gets cigars from me, 4 high-end cigars every month for 4 months. So he's always thinking about me. So I try to do things that keep you top of mind. And I know we'll probably get to this, when you're asking questions, but I do think the marketing is super important, just the quality of the marketing, what you're actually sending out. The luxury car dealers, their aftermarket programs are really pretty impressive. When you buy a car, 4 months later, you get a beautiful keychain. Their materials, when you walk into a Bentley dealership, much, much nicer than if you're walking into a Hyundai dealership. Nothing the matter with walking into a Hyundai dealership, but you want to speak their language. So they're used to nice, and you have to present nice. That's what they relate to.
And this is the question, Karla, regarding any marketing tips to attract buyers. So if there's anything else you wanted to add on marketing, you can.
Yeah, I'll just say that, thanks. I do have a little bit of a, rough throat, so thank you. I don't do a lot of farming. I know a lot of people do. I will send really nice postcards to a specific building or an area if I have a buyer that wants something in that area or in that building. And then my message is directly related to the buyer that I'm working with. I don't send, mass email or mass marketing. I don't do the EDDM anymore. I used to. But I do use the magazine, Reminder Media magazine. I do have, and I also have, and I'll talk about this later, but my first intern, and if you're wondering how to even present in luxury marketing and you don't have the money to hire somebody to do it, get yourself an intern. I hired an intern from the University of Tampa, and I hired one from USF. And the girl who started with me from University of Tampa, she actually helped me develop the logo, and she was wonderful. And now she went off and got a job and worked for a company that managed marketing for a couple of big high-rises in town. Anyway, fast forward, she's running her own company now. I use her. She built my website. She does all my social media marketing. I think that's super important. If you're not on Instagram and Facebook and all those digital platforms, it's good to be out there. She's always on me about, taking videos. My phone's always in my hand. People think this is, could be a 9-to-5 job, but it's 24/7 really. So I think the quality of the pieces that you're putting out are really important. When I send a mailing out, my envelopes, I use Compass, our logo is black and white, big black envelopes. I use silver ink, and it's my assistant, thank goodness, writes in calligraphy, so it always looks really good. Somebody's going to open what I send because it's tempting. It's not something you're just going to toss into the trash. So I think just the quality of the piece that you send out is really important.
Good stuff. Anything else, Evan, regarding marketing strategies or things specifically designed to attract the luxury buyers and sellers?
Well, I think to attract luxury buyers, I had a lot of help from my brand to go ahead and do that. So when I would get listings, I would discuss with them the properties I was getting, and then they would put them in magazines for me. When I was a new realtor, your marketing budget's less, right? So I would talk to your brand, whoever you're with, and if you get these high-priced listings, if you get them in a luxury magazine, for example, you're targeting that demographic now, right? So these buyers that may contact you, they're going to be luxury, affluent buyers, and you're starting to gain momentum as someone that has luxury listings, right? And if you're with a luxury brand, like the three of us are, the strategic marketing that those brands would provide for those luxury outlets, right? So, for example, James Edition, amongst other websites that might attract affluent buyers. And then, of course, there's a more traditional method of open houses at these luxury properties, right? To go ahead and start building, step by step, you're starting to build yourself up as a luxury advisor, luxury agent. One of the things that I do as well, it's a little bit more expensive now. I couldn't have done it earlier in my career, but I can definitely do it now, so I do it, is that I have a guy out in Napa that does private label wine for me, right? And I will deliver these to individuals when I want their properties, okay? It's expensive, You might be spending $40 or $50 on a bottle of wine, and you might be, getting 100 of them, or olive oil, things like that. So, there's levels to this. You guys don't have to be doing that at this stage, but if you want to go ahead and acquire buyers, okay, you need to go ahead and start taking baby steps. So if you have someone that has a luxury listing in your office, see if you can do an open house and start getting your feet wet and start moving forward. If you have a listing, make sure you're targeting the luxury markets and you're paying for it. Yes, things cost money, but if you want to be successful, you're going to have to bite the bullet and you're going to have to go for it. Because if you don't, Zillow's not going to sell your property, right? So, you really have to kind of change your mindset and go, this is what I'm going to do and this is how I'm going to do it, and you're going to have to go for it. So it's really quite that simple. And for getting buyers for your listings, it's making sure no stone is unturned, so to speak, from your marketing perspectives, and that you're actually really working things, not only on the phones, in relationships in person, being well-traveled and building your network up. I think I've been to 20 different countries right now. I'm a certified scuba diver, so I have that network. One of the things is a lot of my buyers and sellers are water people. They're on the water. So I got my sailing certification. So I literally spent thousands of dollars to go and learn how to sail, So those type of things, so not only are you well-rounded, but you can also connect with people, right? And you can meet people. And I've had billionaire clients. I've had executives. I've had the whole smorgasbord of buyers. The first $5 million asset I sold was to a billionaire. So, you just really got to go ahead and leave no stone unturned with your marketing. And it really depends if we're talking about buyers for your home that you have listed, or if you want to be a buyer's agent for the affluent. You're really going to have to gear your marketing towards maybe a DuPont registry, maybe a Tampa magazine, or any other kind of affluent magazine. Look at the demographics of who they serve. So you be smart with your marketing. And that's the right approach, I think, to do it. And your social media, for that matter, the net worth, what their income is, and so forth. If that's what you want to do, then you really have to gear all your marketing towards it, and you got to stay on target. And don't expect it to change in a month or 2 months. Or in my case, it took several years. I know that may sound scary to some people, but it takes time. You have to be consistent. So you have to set your goal, you have to come up with your plan, and you have to be consistent. Because if you're not going to be consistent, you're not going to reach your goal. It's really that simple.
Great stuff.
I want to add.
Go ahead.
Okay,
We're going to have time for one more question, but go ahead and make a comment, Karla.
I was just going to make a quick comment that, a lot of times all of that's really great information. And a lot of times, maybe you don't have the money to get certified to go scuba, or maybe you don't have the money to go take golf lessons. Get to know the people who are selling golf clubs. Just find a Titleist rep. Do a cross-promotion thing with them. They'll introduce you to people. Go to the Galati, there you go, boat dealership. Get to know somebody who works there. Even the guys who are selling the luxury cars, a lot of times they don't own the cars. They're selling them. They speak the language that their buyer is speaking, but maybe it's a groundswell thing you do from the people on the front lines just to get started. And the last thing I wanted to say about what you said, too, is don't think of what you're spending as a cost. You have to think of it as an investment, because if you keep focusing on cost, it's going to get in your way. You have to think of it as an investment to build your brand.
It is, and I wanted to add that marketing-wise, luxury listings, of course, are going to be the most expensive, and you need to be knowledgeable that, let's say, a cover page is going to cost $4,000, an interior page at Tampa Magazine is going to be $4,000 or $2,000, and you have to be able to present this to your seller and say, yes, of course, I'm going to pay for this, for this, for this, for that, for staging, for concierge services. I'm going to offer you the pre-inspection. I'm going to pay for the survey. I'm going to pay for the staging. Again, when you're talking about like high-end properties, and sellers want everything done for them. This particular athlete, again, very busy, right? Because he's a baseball guy, so he's just playing somewhere, who knows where. And the best thing that he did was when he asked me, "Are we done?" And I said, "Yeah, you own the house. I'm gonna just bring you the key. We're done." He was like, "That's what you want. You want to do everything for them because again, you're providing white glove service." But again, again, that's for buyers. But be aware that it's expensive to market a listing. Don't go cheap on luxury listings, because I've seen luxury listings and I've seen the most terrible marketing brochures, paper copies. I've seen they didn't pay a graphic designer. I'm like, and this is how you want to advance your career in luxury, right there. So again, you have to spend the money to make money.
Good stuff. So we're going to do a last question. I have 4 quick things I wrote down. You guys can think about your answer. We're going to just do rapid fire, like 30 seconds each, on what are your favorite ways to stay educated on different trends in the luxury market specifically. So you can think about that, and we'll do 30 seconds each. 4 quick things I wrote down I think are important based on the kind of a summary of a lot of this conversation so far. Number 1 is your identity. How do you view yourself? And if you really want to be in the luxury space, but you don't view yourself yet as a luxury agent, then nothing else is going to matter, right? So identifying what is your identity of how you view yourself, and then how can you make sure that things are aligned with that identity? And there's a lot of different programs and things out there that can help you establish a better self-belief and self-identity if you're not yet at a point where you feel like you deserve to work with the best of the best in the luxury space. The second thing I wrote down was, what are the similar interests of the market that you want to serve, and what are you doing to keep yourself educated on those similar interests, whether it's joining the sailing organizations or different sort of organizations or crews, or just reading about it, creating gift models that are evolving around that. But what are you doing to stay actively involved in similar interests to that market that you want to serve, so that you can connect with them and talk with them on an educated level? The third thing I wrote down was modeling. I think it was Karla that mentioned the idea of like finding an agent in your brokerage who already serves the luxury market, right? And then having a conversation with them about going on a couple of listing appointments with them. But one of the most successful strategies for any business, for anybody who wants to be successful in any shape in the world of business, is to find somebody else who's already doing it well and model what they're doing. That's a principle that's true in any business. And to me, a lot of the things that come up in our interviews on the podcast, where I get to interview successful agents, has to do with who was their role models, who did they model, and then they followed suit. And then the last thing I wrote down was when it comes to marketing, like Jose just said, making sure that you take pride in your marketing platforms being visually appealing and creative enough. And for many people, that means you're probably going to have to invest dollars to be able to do that in other people who are good at that sort of thing, if that's not you, right? But if you want to be in that space, then you need to partner with somebody who's really creative enough to create visually appealing marketing campaigns that are going to attract people who have a high identity. Goes back to the first one, right? Because that is all aligned. So those 4 steps are critical. 30 seconds each, guys. What's the thing that you love to do to stay actively involved in trends and educate yourself in this luxury market?
Networking. Networking is one of our best. We are in 84 countries. I was in London last Tuesday, and I went to our Bond Street office in Sotheby's, and I was able to meet with them, and it's like our extended family. Then I went to Belgium as well. I went to our Belgium office, and again, these are great friends. So the perspective. It's global at this price range, and networking to me, it's been how my business is growing, keeps growing.
Thank you, Jose. Karla?
Yeah, I'm going to definitely echo that. Networking for sure. Compass is, international as well. I'm on calls every day. You know, we do mastermind groups, small mastermind groups around the country. They're amazing. Get to know. I have 35,000 agents that I can reach out to, literally. If you don't have a company that's that big, find an agent that you know that is affiliated and just network with people with other companies. I think it's huge. You can be even in a mastermind group. Andrew Jevin, a guy who I love, he's a super cute guy out of California, and he masterminds for making reels. Sometimes they're really goofy, but you get to know agents from around the country that you wouldn't normally get to know. So I think networking is big.
Love it. Evan, wrap it up.
Sure, I'm going to go with a little bit different approach here. Spend about 20% of your time with trends, 10, 20%. It's a much smaller amount of that time. Networking, avid reading, things of that nature. And then spend the other time when you're actually honing your skills, self-help books, getting your mind right, working out, anything that you can go ahead and get your mind engaged to give you confidence, know how to sell, know how to talk, know how to listen. Okay, work on yourself. That's the biggest thing, is to be able to look at where your deficiencies are, be honest with yourself, and work on yourself. So yeah, work on those trends, understand what those trends are, but I spend the majority of my time working on trying to be a better me, okay? Because I'm not perfect. So you gotta work on yourself, and then I think that'll bode well for you going forward.
Great stuff. Let's give them a round of applause. We thank you for your willingness today to help out. Hopefully you guys can hang around for a little bit for people that might have questions for you. If you want lunch, it's on us as well. So Whiskey Cake would love you guys to stay for lunch if you're able to do so. I want to wrap up with two quick things. On some of your tables, you might have noticed that we have a couple of QR codes. One is of our podcast. Have any of you heard of any of our episodes or listened to any of our episodes? Awesome. Appreciate all your support. Take your phones out if you don't and subscribe to the Tampa Bay Real Producers podcast, and you'll get notified every time we interview, which we drop a new episode every Friday, okay? We interview top people like the ones that you see on stage, and there's a great combination of the people that are producing in all different ways on the podcast. We've put out over 70 episodes now, and we also interview our partners on the podcast too, so you can learn more about how our great vendors serve at a higher level. And so that's our best way, I think, to just consistently learn. You heard all three of them talk about the importance of consistently growing and learning. And I've gotten great feedback from these interviews, so I hope you learn from them. And then lastly, on the other side, you'll notice that there's a QR code for something called Top Producers Nation. We've put together a platform, which if you go to topproducersnation.com, you can just watch a brief video that describes what's involved in this platform. It is a membership. It's a community-based group, which is not just for Tampa Bay, but it's designed to help agents anywhere in the country who want to become top producers. And so there's a course in there. There's an opportunity to network, including weekly Zoom calls with people like the people here on stage, where I interview them and get them to talk about their tips and their tricks and how they're top people. That's every week. There's a lot of value in that group that we consistently keep adding in, including like lead generation sources, automated services. I'll wrap up by saying that the four things that really the whole community revolves around is, number one, helping agents identify their unique selling proposition. If you don't know what makes you different than the other 17,000 licensed agents, then you're not going to distinguish yourself from the other 17,000 agents. So that's the first principle. Second is what platforms and offers that you have that's going to make you different. So that's the second thing we teach in the course and throughout the whole community is what are the specific platforms and what specific offers can you shape that'll, again, be aligned with your USP, right, your unique selling proposition. Third is turning on the fire. So there's so many different ways to market. We all know that. Most people just kind of like, chase the shiny penny, right? From one thing to the next, but don't have a clear strategy about what's going to work for them. And like Evan said, they don't stay consistent enough, unfortunately, to actually see something through and let it work for them. And so the third is about identifying the best marketing arsenals and then actually staying true to letting automation, which is the last point, point 4, is allowing automation to help you create the lifestyle that you really want as an agent. Most people become an agent because they want to be sipping margaritas on the beach and just making money while they sleep, right? So the automation element is a big key to that, using AI and other things to help you build the automated side of the business. So that's the fourth step. So those 4 principles is what Top Producers Nation is all about. We're really excited about it. There is a cost to be involved if you are interested, and it's a discounted cost right now since we just launched it recently, but that will be going up, I would think, within the next 30 to 60 days. So if it's something that you'd like to be a part of, there's no contracts. You can bail out anytime if you feel like it's not worth it, but we are bringing a lot of value through our network, and we're really fired up about it. So excited to have you guys here. Next month, Same place, same time. We'll be talking about growing through innovation, and we have 4 great panelists already on the panel to crush that next month. So you guys have a great rest of your day. If you can hang out for lunch, Whiskey Cake would love it. We'll see you later. Bye.
What's going on, everybody? This is Bobby Pellini with eXp Realty and Team Borum. We are here now at National Mall in Tampa, Florida at the Whiskey Cake with the Tampa Bay Real Producers. Excited to have just finished a great panel talking about consistency. Consistency in your business, your referrals, your income. And I'm loving being here with the Tampa Bay Real Producers. What they stand for. They represent value. Value to the industry, value to the agent, and homeowner and the customer, the buyer, and that's what we're all here for.